It's Jay. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody see me? All right. All right. Yeah. I know I was telling you guys that I was going to get another song. So here's our new song. And you guys probably have heard this before. I was told Espogi des Homes Gifis Ghosts. I was told that from somebody that was in a previous class that I guess they use this at a lot of funerals. And because, you know, it's talking about this may be the last time. But in the hymn, in the little black hymn book, it says encouragement hymn, invitation hymn. So I don't see it as only a funeral song. I see it as like it says encouragement. We don't know, you know, this may be the last time. So some things that I know in my personal life is you don't know if somebody's going to be there. You don't know if this is the last time you're going to see somebody because they moved to a different state or something like that. And sometimes just get it done now. If you think, oh, I want to go hug somebody, you know, because, you know, I'm just happy, just go hug somebody and just do it now, because you're not guaranteed tomorrow, and you're not even guaranteed that you're going to be in the same state or country, you know, because like I said, we're military background. So you don't know when people are going to get deployed. You don't know if they get deployed and then you guys move someplace. So this is not just passing, you know, that somebody, you might not see somebody, you might just be able to see them on the computer, but it's not the same. You can't go hug them or just, you know, hey buddy, you know, kind of thing. But so, you know, another thing that in you know, talking about something like this is I am really bad at buying stuff for my family, and I can't wait till their birthday, so I have to give it to them then. Or I can't wait till Christmas, so I have to give it to them then, because like it says, you don't know if you're going to be around, you don't know if you're going to forget what you bought and put it in this attic or something, because I've done this as well. When we move from military base to military base, I find things that I had bought for somebody, and somebody, not going to name names, goes behind me and helps clean the house, and they just gather everything up and then put it in a box and move it. So something that I had bought for somebody special is actually, you know, still stays at home. So, you know, I think of it something like this. We don't know, you know, so I think it's more encouragement for me than, you know, it's the last time, you know, like for a funeral. It can be used that as well. But like I said, I buy stuff for my family all the time, and I give them gifts. I'm like, here, take this. And I guess it's more of a cultural thing where, what are you giving this to me for? What's up? What's special? But, you know, now that I think about some of the Native culture and our mindset is because you're special, because we're alive today. I don't think that we have to wait. And that's the way I've started taking things in my life, because you don't know, you know, if you're going to be around or you're going to meet somebody, or, you know, they're going to move or whatever. But I just grab stuff. If I find something and I think it's going to be good for one of my children, like I grab it. I'm like, here, this is for you. And they know it's not like their birthday or, you know, hey, it's just that I feel good to share. I found this, I was thinking of you, here it is. You know, I don't like to wait just for the holidays or birthdays. So, you know, it gives me extra time to go get that holiday or birthday thing. You know, if I've already given them something, then go get them something else, you know. But there's some things that like that. I just like to give people things and give people hugs. And, you know, if you know you're going to be in a place with somebody, just go talk to them. Don't wait, because you might not see them in person and you might not be able to give them hugs, or go just sit there and chat with them, or just, you know, have that good feeling of communication in person. Because, you know, communication in person is different than communication online, and it's more intimate, you know. So anyway, so I got this for us today, and it is to, hopefully everything works in Google Drive. But it is to the songs that we have here at the Muskogee Language Department. It's on one of the CDs. So I was able to use that, clip that and put it on here. And it's only a couple of verses because some of the songs get long, you know, I just wanted us to hear and to feel the songs. And you can see I had broken it down into syllables. So it helps us pronounce something a little easier, because if you just look at some of these words without it being broken down, you're like, oh my gosh, it just becomes overwhelming. And for those of us who are still trying to learn and are at this stage where we need it broken down, this is here for us. And I know I'm still doing that. And then even Mvhayv Barnett will sit there and we'll look at some of the things and we have to break it down because it's such a long, I want to say word, but if you look at the Muskogee infinitives and how you conjugate, it looks like one word, but it's actually a sentence. So these are our Muskogee sentences. So let me go ahead and put this on. Let me know if you can hear it, because we've been working around with this one screen, and sometimes she works and sometimes she doesn't. So let me know if you can hear it. Well, I can't hear it. Can you hear it? Goodness gracious. Let's see. Because you can see in the corner, it's got the little sign there. Like I said, sometimes I put this in there. All right, it's not going to work today. Sometimes I put this in there, and anybody who knows computers knows about the replication, and sometimes you get it connected, even though you put it connected in the Google Drive, and sometimes it just takes a couple of minutes or sometimes a couple of days. So let's go ahead and sing it. We're going to go old school, a cappella, but you know, okay, Nikki, you can't hear it either. Okay, all right. All right, so I'll start out. I don't know if any of you guys know the sound of it or how it's supposed to sound, but I will try. So you guys sing on your end and I'll sing on my end.
Espooky days of May, skittiskos. Espooky skittiskos. Kusapalke.
Apiana.
Espooky days of May, skittiskos.
Espooky days of May,
Skittiskos.
Apiana. Espooky days of
May, skittiskos.
Espooky days of
May, skittiskos.
All right, Mado. I know I had a little fumble there, but that's okay. You can hear when they're singing how it just flows. And like I said, it's in there. You see that the little sound icon is there. But for some reason it's not being. Let me see if I can stop share. And then let's share it again. Okay, let's see. Let's try this. Like I said, sometimes it just reverts back to not wanting to do what it needs to do. Let's see if I can. Let's see. Let's try it again. No, it's not working. All right, that's okay. We got it.
We can hear it.
Oh, you
It's
can hear
working.
it?
It's working.
Okay, let me put it back on. And you guys, for some reason, I can't hear it on my end, so let me know when it's done. But you can sing along with it.
So skittiskos. Espooky so May, skittiskos. Ariana. Espooky so Jesús
All right, so
es.
Nikki, did you finish here?
Oh,
Okay. All right, so I turned it up. Is it still going? Is it good? All right, so that was our new song. We're going to start doing our song. Like I said, it helps our mouth to start moving the way that we need it to do for Muskogee. And you can see it's broken down, and when you can hear it and you sing with it, your mouth, like I said, has the mouth movements, and you get the rhythm of the words. And it's just a nice pick-me-up, a nice refresher to start out the class. All right, no problem. All right. Okay, so that's our new song. It's in the Google Drive. So let me go ahead and so everybody's got the address to the Google Drive. All right, let's see. Okay. So for those of you last week, I said that we had class on Monday. I'll see you Monday. I had to I didn't realize that we had a holiday, but I did put it up there in case somebody logged on that we had a holiday. It was the Sovereign Day. And from what I understand, this is when the Supreme Court reaffirmed through the McGirt ruling, that the reservations had never been disestablished. So that was a celebration of that McGirt ruling of the Supreme Court re-acknowledging that we had never been disestablished. And anybody who knows Native history or anything in our culture, there's a lot of times we keep saying things, but people don't listen to our stories or listen to our voices. So now it's exciting to actually hear, to have the Supreme Court reaffirm, yes, we were never disestablished. Because I remember some elders talking about that before, saying, hey, this isn't quite right. And when they brought it up, and this happens a lot from not just, the Native culture, but this happens a lot sometimes. It's like, hey, be quiet, nobody's talking to you. And they kind of get dismissive. But now with that ruling, we are, like I said, it was the reservations were never disestablished. Something, like I said, I've heard other elders talk about. So it's cool to have it set in stone, set in writing, so everybody can know that our reservations are still here. One of the things that when I was younger, and I just started my language journey, I would say within the last 5 to 10 years, I did go back to college and do the education thing. So I learned a lot of things that we don't learn in everyday public school history. And so to see some of this come to play and to actually be brought to the forefront again is exciting. All right, let's go ahead. Does anybody have any questions? Did anybody do anything cool on the holiday? Let's see, I took my grandchild out and we went swimming at the swimming pool. So it was just a nice time to just reconnect with family. I guess a family day. All right. So here we go. Our future tense negation. This is what module 3 is about. Future 1 tense negation. Future 1 tense negation shows that someone is not going to do something. There's no L grading in future 1 tense negation. And the future 1 negation rules is drop the ETB. I remember I had it on just a regular sheet, and I tried to put a little bit more of my notes on here. So I made the native guy. He's native and he's got long hair. When I try to do things, I'm trying to look at, oh, baby birthday parties and graduations. Everybody's busy. It's the summertime. But when I do my presentations, I try to think about those of us who have gone to school and only seen a certain demographic on the presentations. So I try to make mine a little bit more to our native culture. I made him with long hair and he's brown. One of the things I remember when I was growing up was there was nobody with brown skin in our presentation. So now I'm just like embracing all of the things that we can do with modern technology. All right, so you drop your ETV, you add your tense marker, going to, you see that, I put that in there so we won't forget. Add your person marker, which is it's or nothing, and you see that I put in the blue since it's the third person, she, he, they, it. And add your negation, affix, goal, or equal. Add your subject marker, the, and add your auxiliary verb, os. To me, also, when I make these presentations, it helps to keep us excited about what we're learning. I know Mvhayv, Burnett, and myself, we sat there and talked about how learning and how lecture can be really boring. So we're trying to jazz it up a little bit and keep your attention. And if you guys have any questions or any kind of suggestions, just let us know. Like I said, I gravitate a lot towards visual and towards color. So I try to make it as colorful and visual as possible. But, you know, the thing behind that is, it takes a lot of work. And for those of you, Amy, those of you who are in the education field and you have to do some of this stuff, you know what I'm talking about. All right. So with those rules established, we will go ahead and I will show the, and this is from last week, first person template. I did try to use a PowerPoint slide. So I would, you know, click it and it would show each step by step by step. But for in person, that did not work as well as I would like because it was so small. So I'm trying to, teaching in person and teaching online are two separate things. And so I'm trying to capture everybody. So this is how I did it today. Let's see, I think it's just a PDF. So you see, like I had done in the previous module, I did step by step. You add your ETV, you add your infinitive verb up here, and then you add what it means to eat, to sleep, to cook, whatever it is. You add your infinitive verb there, like hombeda, ETV, and then it goes step by step by step. And I know you guys have seen this before, but like I said, I try to make it as easy as possible. And I know there's sometimes when we overwrite things or we just use the same template. So I'm trying to make sure I get all the bugs out. So if you ever have to revert back to going to the Google Drive, it will be correct there. All right, so, and I'm just going to go through this template and then we will show you. So it's not like you're just kind of trying to imagine everything. All right, so you got your verb stem after you drop your ETV. You add your ahan here. And the tense marker is going to. I'm going to do something. So it's a future tense. And like I said, I try to put on my notes there. Sometimes I accidentally overlook it. Just let me know and I'll put it on there. If something's wrong, I'll go back and correct it. And then, so this is the first person, add the which means I, add the person marker. And then here, the reason why it's E or EKO is because it can be eco or it can be go. So right here, after the first person marker, it would be a. And since there's already a there, you don't add the E. So it would just be cool for the first person. Bring it down here, you add your subject marker, you add your os. So whatever your verb stem was, you add it right there. And then you see each step, how it goes down from step. And this is the final look of it. Put your verb stem there. It'll be ahan. You see it means going to. I'm going to do something. You see the blue person marker, and since we're talking about first person right now, which we did last week, you add your go or equal. I guess I should put, I'm going to add to this, this little note right here, so we don't forget it. But how we know whether to put go or equal is if there's a verb, you know, not verb, I'm sorry. If there's a vowel, then we don't add another vowel. But if there's not a vowel, then we add our vowel. But I will put that on there. I'm just thinking about that. I'm trying to make it as easy as I can. Add your subject marker, he. And then you add your os, your auxiliary verb. Drop it on down, verb stem right there in that blank box. Ahan, okot, os. You are not going to eat. You're not going to sleep. You're not going to cook. Like I said, I sit there and think about this, and it's kind of funny. You don't think about each step until you sit there and try it. All right. And this is everything filled out. Since for some reason the PowerPoint didn't work so well, I just made a different one. So this, and like I said, I always like to talk about humbada, because we all eat. And like I've told one of the Mvhayvs last week, humbada, when I think of our Muskogee words and our Muskogee sounds, and just hear the rhythm and the flow of the speaker speaking. And I will make a presentation, but it reminds me of chocolate. You know, you see that chocolate being poured like around Easter or even Christmas, and they're pouring chocolate. It's just like, you know, cascading down, and it just makes your mouth water. That's what Muskogee language does for me. That's the thought I have. And like I said, I'm visual. So if it doesn't hit you that way, you know, that's just how it hits me. Is chocolate, just that richness, that the lusciousness of the brown, and just the creaminess. I know I'm getting myself hungry too. Nikki, me too. So I will make a presentation with that. It's going to have Muskogee, and it's just going to have cascading chocolate. But all right, back to this. All right, humbada. So we've got got humbada. You drop your ETV, and that gets you your verb stem. No L grading, and each step you're just adding on. So right here, you've got your verb stem plus your tense marker going to ahan, ahan. You add another step, which is add the person marker. We're talking about first person. Ahan, Drop all of that down. Ahan, Is it EKO or is it KO? Right here, this very last part before the E, you see that it's a vowel. So we don't add two vowels together. So that's how we know it's going to be KO. Ahan, Go. And you see right here, there's no E. There's no EKO. It's KO. Ahan, Go. You know, the T sound, the D sound. Drop that down, add your auxiliary verb os. And that means am, are, is. Right? So you get to see how each step adds on. And so you get to your final version right here. Os. Right here, like I said, I put the E there, so you decide whether it needs the E or not. And the reason why this one doesn't is because there's already a vowel, which is the or the V. So that's why you add KO, cool, and not an E there. So the other visual that we have is the colors, the verb stem right there. You can see exactly where it goes. Going to ahan. You can see the person marker right here with the blue arrows, and you can see ko or equal right here with the purple, the D, os right here, am, are, is. So now out of this word, which was an infinitive verb, you've got a whole sentence. And I know there's a word for it. I just don't remember what it's called, where it looks like it's just one word, but it's a whole sentence. So this is hombahan equal os. That's a sentence right here. Hombahan equal hombahan equal os. You are not going to eat, because we have used hombida. You are not going to eat, or you are not going to sleep, or you are not going to cook. All right. So if anybody has the word where it looks like one word, but it's actually a sentence. If you have that that term, just put it in the chat. I know at one time we did figure it out, but it's been a little while. And I've slept before, after that. All right, so that was last week. We're going to look at the same thing in a different way. Like I said, I try to present it a little easier. Like telling someone something. Yeah. Like telling someone something. That was from Nikki. All right. Hombahan ako os. So the cool thing about learning this way is you know the breakdown of the sentence. And you know what each little part means. And to me, that was exciting because I'm like, now I know what things are. Now I know what one little part right here, say, this red part right here, this one little part can change the whole sentence. Or, each part like this, the ahan can change the whole sentence. To me, that was exciting because it's like, now I know why things, we can get a whole sentence out of this. Now I know why. And some people can learn differently where they can just look at it and remember. I'm not one of those people. I have to have the steps. So right here, hombahan ako os, eating. So the verb stem is eating right here in this instance. Going to is ahan. We're talking about first person, I, right here. It won't just highlight it. Okay, I is the not right here is ko. Am, are, or is os, and the period. Hombahan ako os. And when you start doing these infinitives and you break it down, it'll be easier for you to pronounce. It'll be easier for you to know what things are. And sometimes, when we learn a language, a lot of times we start with learning how to write it and how to conjugate it. And I know it's a lot of writing and a lot of homework, but the more we go over it, the more you'll remember it. And you get to the point, like in English, you get to the point where you don't have to write it down. And this is just how we're starting to learn and to understand the Muskogee language a little bit more, is writing it down or seeing it written down and understanding what things are. Some of you guys are really, really fast and can pick it up just like that. I know when I was in class, we had several students who were just like, all right, they get the infinitive verb and they just write it straight across, and they wouldn't have to go through the steps. And here I am, old school, and I have to go step by step by step, but that was okay. I eventually got there, but thinking about it in the terms of they're young, the early 20s, 18, 19-year-olds, they don't have 40 plus years to override of English, solely English, so you got to take it into context on where you are in your language journey. And if you're ahead of me, awesome. If you're behind me, awesome. And if you're right where I am, awesome. We're all in our different language journeys, different parts of it. As long as we don't stop, that's what I want, is as long as we don't stop. As long as we keep learning, because our language deserves to live, and it lives through us, even if it's just a couple of words or, hombahan kotos, just a few things. But I encourage everybody to keep going, because you're always learning something, and you can't learn a language in a year or 2 years unless you're fully immersed and that's all you hear. It's going to take you a while. And I know it takes me a while, and I have to sit there when I'm going back and forth from the city to Okmulgee and I'm driving. Sometimes I put on these CDs and just to listen, just to hear it. And sometimes I'm starting to put in the CDs with the hymns, so I'll start to sing with them. And that gets my mouth singing and doing the Muskogee sounds. And if you guys need any CDs or anything, just contact the front office, and there's some CDs that are free, and she'll just mail it out to you. You just give her your information and she'll mail it out to you. That would be Coco. Coco's the one that does that. All right, Muskogee word. Hombahan ako os. Hombahan ako os. Literal translation, eating, going to, I not am. English translation, change it backwards. I am not going to eat. All right, and one of the things that I've realized when I was doing this, let's bring this up here. Right here, for the translations. Right here, it just has exactly, for the literal translation, eating, going to, I, right here, I, not, am. So, just, just direct translation, eating, going to, I not am. And then I am not going to eat. All right. So you've got a couple of questions here. Amy says, I used to go to sleep to the hymns when I was really sick. Yeah, I do that sometimes. I was listening to one and I just fell asleep, and it's kind of funny. It's indirect learning, because you still, your mind is still going when you're asleep. So you're still absorbing that. So that's cool. And one of the things I know Amy had talked about before is you can feel the strength of the Muskogee words. You can feel the power that it has. And it's something you can't really put a exact thing on. You can't do scientifically, hey, this is what happens when you say this word. But when I was studying, there was some things, yay, Mado for the info. All right, Mado, thanks for the feedback. That really helps. But one of the things when I was studying our Muskogee, and this was in College of Muskogee Nation, we had to do a paper, and my paper was the power of Muskogee words, or the Muskogee language. And I don't want to get into anything that shouldn't, but I was reading, and this is a book out there, is talking about medicine. So it's published, so I'm not divulging anything that I shouldn't. But the cool thing about reading that was that there are Muskogee words that bring out the healing properties of plants. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was exciting. Trying to encourage my kids to listen to them. Yeah. Just listen to them. And go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry, but I've shared this before. But when I was in the wheelchair with COVID round 5, because I had it 8 times. How I learned to walk again was to hold the arms of the chairs that were near me, and I played the Muskogee music that I could find online on YouTube, and I would kind of march to that by holding it. And that is how I learned to walk again. A lot of prayer, God's choice, but yes, I do believe in the power of the language. That's why I'm so diligent. My love for every single person in the tribe, and that, I mean, it was just an absolute testimony to that. And the land my house is on was Seminole land. So I personally think the land still remembers whose land it belongs to. That's just my opinion. I know that's out there, but I don't think there's a separation of that, but that's my take on it. But thank you for letting me share.
Mado for sharing, Mado. I always like to hear what you guys have to say in your own stories, because it's different from mine. I also believe that the land has a memory. If you think about some of the native teachings, sacred sites just by the way they feel, or things happen, but you can't explain it, and science can't explain it. And the cool thing about being alive today is you're actually being able to see science show that the Muskogee people were correct in their thinking, and actually not only show that we were correct, we were far ahead of the thinking of the time. So we were more advanced than a lot of history shows. And that's exciting, because to know that strength is in me and all the other people who have the native blood, or even who speak the native language, you can still feel, like Amy said, the energy from our Muskogee language. And the healing properties. And one of the things that, like I was saying, is when I was studying and when I was writing my paper, I read that book, and it was talking about how the creator gave our Muskogee people our language. He gave other people different languages. He gave the Muskogee people our Muskogee language so we could speak to him and his creation. And for those of us who think about our culture a little differently, we're all connected, whether we're, plants or trees or sky or water or earth or wind or anything. We're all connected. And for him to give us this language is something you just can't lose. You just don't want to lose. Through history, you can see that they were trying to eradicate languages, but we're still here. And that's what gets me so excited and pumped to teach is we are still here. You feel the energy and the strength. And like I said, on my paper, I was studying, and it was talking about how the medicine people would create medicine for specific people is through the words. The words, I want to say, and I would liken it to a love language for herbs, for plants. Because if you speak to them the correct way, then they will really, and this is from the book, they would release the correct healing properties for what the words were bringing forth out of them. So if somebody, say you have 3 people sitting there and they had different ailments, the medicine person could sit there and get the same herbs, but speak different words to the herbs. And from what I understand, the herbs would release that certain property that the medicine person was invoking from them. So each herb would release that certain property they needed for each different person. So you could have, the same thing, 3 different people, but have different healing properties because that's not what that person needed, and they needed something else. So knowing that our language could invoke the energy from these plants to heal people is powerful, because I don't know of any English word or any other language word, I personally don't know, that can do that. You can't say, you can't say to aloe vera plant, hey, I got a stomach ache and, my feet hurt, and then all of a sudden, it boom, develops what you need to have cure or to help remedy that cause. So I think that that's powerful. Okay, and then Nikki says she likes to play stomp with baby nephew. We go around the living room. Yeah. And and however we and she loves that. So however you continue our language journeys, just keep learning, keep getting the little secrets and the little aspects of the language, because that's fulfilling. Not only learning to write, learning what each little part of the word is or the sentence is, but to feel the power and the strength and knowing it's there. And like Amy said, she's a living testament to the strengths and the power of the Muskogee language. And the sad thing is people don't realize that. And then even if people are too busy these days with being on their little phones, they don't realize what's around them, and that also affects my family. Not only me, sometimes I'm in the middle of doing something, working, but you see our kids walking around and they do things. They'll be walking. You see on the internet, people will sit there and walk with their iPhones, and then they go into a river or accidentally walk into a hole. That's how caught up we are with our technology. And to sit back and to start this again, to learn another language and to learn a strong language that's been here for thousands, if not millions of years, because our Muskogee story starts out that we came out of the earth, but it doesn't say when. And I have always told my mom when I was young, I always told her, how do they know that we weren't alive when the dinosaurs were here? How do they know? Even archaeologists will tell you that that is not, the way they carbon date and the way they do things is not 100% accurate. So I'm like, how do you know? You know, and that's what I grew up thinking about when I was going through school. How do they know that there weren't saber-toothed tigers here in the, you know, in our Americas now, but on the land that we live on? How do they know? Because I'm from Gotsa clan, which is the tiger clan. Gotsa, that's my clan. So how do they know that there weren't tigers? And I've had some discussions with people, and they were saying, oh, honestly, I like to talk to the trees and sky, but I worry people. I don't care what people think about me. I sit there and I think, you know, and I told my kids this. I've done this since I was young, before I knew what I know now. I was like, thank you for, and I talked to the sun, thank you for making it a bright day. It's beautiful. And then, you know, thank you for your, and I think it's a respect that's lost in our Muskogee culture, but it was always ingrained in our people, you know, from way back when, is respect. But I remember playing soccer. I used to play soccer until my knees got a little wonky, but I'd be running, it'll be 100, and it was 100. We would get little towels and put it on our head with ice on it, but we would still go. This is when you're young. You know, so was running, and then we play soccer, and our coach would make us take a whole lap, which was 1.5 miles around. So we would be tired, we'd be playing, and then we'd take a whole lap. So of course, you know, you're not going to go your fastest after a soccer practice, and we'd be going. So I'd be going my pace, you know, don't try to keep up with anybody. I know my own body at that time. I was like, I'll just go my pace. And it's kind of funny. I would be walking. I was like, thank you, sun, for the beautiful sunshine we have. And then you'd hear a bird. And I don't know which birds. I really can't tell the difference between the sounds. I'm like, oh, thank you for the beautiful song that you're singing while I'm running. And then I'm like, and I look at the grass and how beautiful the color of grass is when it's not dehydrated or burnt. Oh, thank you for the beautiful green. And I would just go around thanking things, and it would keep my mind occupied while I was jogging. And then this is so cool. And I didn't think anything of it at the time, but I'd walk around, I'd be jogging, and I say, oh, you know, wind, if you just pick up a little bit more and just, you know, shower me with that breeze. And anybody knows Oklahoma knows Oklahoma wind. So I'd be running, and then all of a sudden this big old gust of wind would just start blowing. I was like, oh, that feels so good. Thank you. And I'd be jogging. And then I finished my lap. And so I would go through and just do that stuff. I didn't realize that was a native trait or a native habit. My mom taught me in a way that she couldn't teach me the language because she had lost connection with it. But she taught me how to think and to be Stajati Muskogee. And I didn't realize it until in my 50s. So these are some of the little things that she taught me, how to think and how to do things. And now it's coming almost full circle. I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes sense. But respect, she was teaching me respect. Bear Clan, I believe. We can look at it. Okay. Yeah, Bear Clan. I mean, if you don't know your clan, ask your relatives, your elders, because for like the census and the records, you usually have a tribal town listed, but you usually don't have a clan. And that goes through your mother's line. So one of the things that we came across as far as clans and how our governments have to change, the native governments, is if your mother was not native, they would have no clan. But we had to change that, and it had to change because people were intermarrying. So sometimes it wasn't the mother that was native, it was the father. And I went and asked our language department one time and asked them about that. If the father is the native, then how do we do that? And the mother is not native. They said that we had, and this is a Seminole Nation, not the Creek Nation. This is who I asked. They said that we are at now telling them to go ahead and go with their father's clan, because as long as it's a native connection, You still have that connection, but in the old days, you didn't go by a father's clan, you only went by the mother's clan. So things have had to change, just the same as language has gotten to change. Never got to meet my yeah, I know, those of us who haven't had that passed down, it's hard to backtrack something as important as your clan. Unless you have unless you find some writing or have a relative, that's about the only way you can know what your clan or what your grandmother, your great grandmother's clan was. But mine's Kachaogi, which is the tiger clan. And like I said, I'm pretty sure we were probably alive when the saber-toothed tiger was here. I know for the Florida Seminoles, they call it the Panther clan, Panther tiger. It's either or. So, all right. Okay, now we're off that tangent. Let's go ahead. Hombada, to eat. Second person. So since we did first person last week, we're doing second person this week. Hombada, to eat. And the only thing that pretty much changes again is the person marker, because right now we're talking about you. Instead of I, we're talking about you. All right, but everything else stays the same. So that makes it a little easier once you get in the habit of going step by step by step. So hombada. You drop your ETV, get your verb stem. No L grading. So just, like I said, step by step by step. We're adding on one step, adding on another step, adding on another step. So this step, add the tense marker going to future tense, ahan. Ahan. You add your person marker, it's. Ahan, it's. Right here, you add your negation, which is go or ego. And since this right in front of this E is a K, you're gonna add a vowel, ego. Ahan, it's equal. And if you need to sit there and sound it out while you're doing it, do it. I mean, it just gives your mouth more practice. And one of the things that I learned going to college was your muscle memory for your mouth and your hand when you're writing. It'll help connect to your brain, saying these. When your brain says it, your mouth says it, and then your hand remembers how to write it. And people think that doesn't help. Yes, it does. That came in handy on my some of my college tests for Muskogee. I would sit there and I would just do conjugate all of the words that we had at the time, all of our infinitive verbs. So if it was going to be on the test, I had written it at least once. And there's times when I don't know, for some people, when we take a test, we get overwhelmed. And it's like all of a sudden, your mind gets blank. And sometimes you get so blank, you're like, what's my name? So I get kind of like that, what do you call, test fright? So I'll sit there and I'm like, oh my gosh, I know I've seen this. I don't remember what it was. And then I just kind of have to calm myself down and go, okay. We've done this before. I've said these words before. I've conjugated these words before. Take a deep breath. Okay, and then start going again. And then if my brain couldn't think because it was just thinking too much, my hand would start moving. Okay. And then my brain would catch up to my hand. Oh yeah, you got it. And it would remember. So for those of you who don't think that writing this down is helpful, yes, it is. Muscle memory, yes, it is. It's there. Okay. Hombahan, it's equal. Hombahan, it's equal. Hombahan, it's equal. Here you go, in a different format. Hombahan, it's equal. And sometimes I go a little fast. I have to slow it down. And if you need to, just go step by step. Hombahan, it's equal. And then you can pick it up, go a little smoother later on. But just for those of us who are starting out, just go step by step by step. And then just go a little faster. So right now here, it shows you get your verb stem. You got your going to right here. The black part is going to. You got your person marker in blue. You've got your right here is equal because the K is right in front of the negation. So you add your vowel, equal, subject marker D, auxiliary verb os, am, are, is, So the final version right there would be, oh, I forgot to put it down. Home, it's HOMP, ahan, it's equal os. So that would be home, ahan, it's equal os. You are not going to eat. All right. Woo! These templates are awesome. It's something I wish I had when I was going through school. Uh-oh, it doesn't show my other template. All right, because I did have another. Let's see if it caught up with us. No, it's not here. But it was basically this in second person. It's showing on my laptop, but it's not showing in here. So right here, let me just go over it quickly. All right, can you put the drive in the chat? Yes. I had it earlier. Let me put it. I will put it in the chat. All right. I'll be linked. All right, there it is. Okay. All right. So, like I said, this was I had made another template. So this is first person because how do we know it's first person? Because right here the person marker is I. Right here, I. All right. So let's see if I can do this. And let's see if I can update it right here. So home, ahan, second person. Let's see if we got it. Let's see. All right, I'm trying to no. All right, this is not working like I was looking at it too. No, okay. So I will have to do a workaround and we will get this done. So home, ahan, instead of the you put it's. Home, ahan, it's equal os. So if you want to, you can write that in. Home, ahan, it's equal os. I was trying to write on here so I could share it with you, but it's okay. Let's see, screen share, new share. Okay. Okay, so you've got the same thing you for first person home, ahan, and right here this you put it's, and so ETSK it's second person. Since the it's ends with a K, you add an E equal os. So it would look like home, ahan, equal, yeah. Home, ahan, it's, I'm sorry, home, ahan, it's, because it's is the second person, equal os. Home, ahan, equal os. So that would be what the final version of this would be. So it would be eating, going to, you, not, are. So it'd be home, ahan, equal os. Or home, ahan, it's equal os. I wish that that other paper was here because it's easier to show you guys and try to have you guys. Come on. Oh, no, like I said, it's not gonna be, it's not there, but it will be in the Google Drive later on. I guess it hasn't made its way over there, but I had broken it down so you can see the complete translation and each part of the word, you can see what it is. All right, does anybody have any questions? Class 2. Let's go ahead and look at a couple of things from class 2. These are the classroom terms that we had talked about. Let's see. All right, one of the things that I'm trying to do in my in-person class is to have us use more Creek words. The more immersed we are in our Creek language, the easier it's gonna be to start picking things up. And, because I remember when I was learning, French, she would say in French, listen, repeat, and stuff like that. And that would get you in the mindset of, okay, we're speaking French. Your mind would automatically French. So I'm trying to do that with Muskogee as well. Like I said, I'm still learning, and sometimes my pronunciation is a little bit off, but that's okay. You know what I'm talking about for the most part, if you got it right here. So let's see, the classroom terms is kithux, I don't know, legibus, have a seat, adam magus, say it again. So if I'm doing something and you want me to say it again, just on your part, try to get this out and just put hadam magus and in the chat, or you can even unmute and say hadam magus, and I'll try to remember, because this is a back and forth conversation. I'm trying to remember, you're trying to remember, so we're both trying to learn. So hadam magus, say it again. Amanagus, amanagus, and you see how I have it broken down, so that helps us as well. Help. Mvhayv, Mvhayv, listen. So one of the things that I'm trying to do, like I said, for myself is Mvhayv, and then I'll try to say something. This is, it's easy concept, but trying to remember to do that, it takes practice. He just, look, Fekonas, stop, Fekonas. Mahaya, teacher. Okay. Chehijayat, hidit os. Chehijayat, hidit os. It is good to see you. So I will try to remember. Also, I'm trying to practice what I preach. I'll try to remember to say these things at the beginning and try to remember, so you'll remember hearing it. So when you're out and about with your family, Chehijayat, hidit os. It is good to see you. All right. And Ian Oleges, put it here. Somebody did point out that it was incorrectly spelled. Like I said, sometimes I get fat fingers, and sometimes I'm sitting there saying it in Muskogee, and especially with the I's, I'll say A, and I just automatically type A, but you know, in the Muskogee language, the I is the A. So if you guys see any issues, just let me know and I'll just correct it. Not a big deal. Ian Oleges, put it here. Jogahija, student. And I've seen it also in the dictionary, not Jogahija, student. And for those of you who attend Mvhayv Barnett's class, you will see me in there. I'm Jogahija. All right. So sometimes I'll ask a question, but normally I'll sit in the chair, but when I'm not here, I'll ask online, and that's me, Jogahija. Okay. And give. Kifetska and Kifetska. Do you understand me? And Kifetska. And Kifetska. And like I said, I put this to the speaker's voice, so hopefully this slideshow will work today.
Kistaks. Legibus. Hadamagas. Amanages. Mvhayv. Hijas. Fikunas, Mahaya, Chihijaya, Hithitos, Hian Uhlejas, Chogahija, Angif Diska.
All right, Mado. So as you can see that for some reason I can't hear it, so I'm glad it played for you guys. But as you see, you hear those little tones and sounds that Mvhayv Barnett talks about. She stresses tones and sounds. You can hear that in our speaker speaking it. And like I said, that's like chocolate. You know, I visualize chocolate when they're talking. It's so smooth and elegant. And like I know Amy and I talked about before, it's almost like it's got a rhythm. It's almost like a melody. And each speaker has their own version and their tone and their song. So you put it all together, and I know Amy was talking about it's like a choir, and it is. It's really cool. But like I said, these are some of the classroom terms that I am going to try to speak more of so you can hear it. And if you guys, whenever you guys speak back, if you have a question, just say it again, Hadamagas, unmute, or even put it in chat. It gives us both a little practice. All right, it looks like it is 1 o'clock. Does anybody have any questions? Here are the phrases and the infinitive verbs that we have in our in module 3, and these also have the voices to it. I will not play it right now because I can't hear it, and it's out there. I gave you guys the link for the Google Drive, so you guys have access to that. Here's the phrases that we want to try to also learn. One of the things that on the Friday class, we're going to try to get together on our final class and have a meal and try to say some of these words, just so we can sit there and use it, utilize what we've learned. Because I know learning, if you never get to utilize it or never get to practice it, it gets kind of, now I know I've got all this information, what do I do with it? So that's what we're trying to do. And we're trying to, expand it online as well. So like, if you're in the restaurant and you're like, okay, chugaji ayes, I'm going to the bathroom. So your whole family knows what you're doing, okay. And, but not the whole restaurant will know what you're doing. So these are some of the terms that we can use to help us get more into speaking our Muskogee language. All right, Mado, powerful words. All right, Mado. All right, so anybody have any questions? All right, so we will have our class on Friday evening in person and on Zoom. You guys are welcome to come. But if you have any questions, suggestions, or even if you want any CDs, you contact the main number and ask for Coco. If she's not available, somebody will take your information, and like I said, there are some CDs and some more informational packets out there for you guys to utilize. All right, I will talk to you later. I've got to get someplace else. Mado, thank you for coming. I enjoyed talking with you and listening to your stories. It's always a blessing. Mado.
But Jay Mahaya did great.
Oh man, thank you.